Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are in the world watching this video. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sharon and this is Be Divine Vintage. In my previous video I said that I was going to do a journal on the water babies. I was going to buy the book of the water babies. Well, I thought I had, and then this came, and it's like a vintage magazine story of the water babies by Juvenile Productions Limited in London, printed in England, and it's got absolutely fabulous graphics. Every page has got graphics on it, as you can see. So I decided that I'm going to use these pages to make my journal with. They can fold like this, and the journal will measure approximately 7 by 9.5 inches. That's my ruler without any numbers on it. I definitely need to get myself a new ruler. So I'm going to do the water babies. So I'm going to be making a dangle to go on the spine of this book using some of the beautiful things that I've found when I have been out and about. Let's just unzoom that a bit. Some of the lovely things from when I've been out and about. So this is a piece of glass that I've beach combed, and this glass would have been a tile. That was a devil to drill through. There's quite a history with this tile, so I will give you that history when I make the dangle. There's the beautiful skeleton of a shell, which I might have to give several coats of diamond glaze just to toughen that up, because I'm frightened that that will break. There's a little piece of pot here. The beach I got this off was invaded originally by the Vikings. It was been invaded by the Romans, and who knows whether the Saxons invaded that way as well. I doubt it, because it was on the west coast. But this beach where I got this actually has medieval, Viking, Roman and medieval pottery. So who knows? That could be from there. It could be a little piece of Roman floor tile. I've got the transferware piece of spored pottery that I've glazed. Not glazed, I haven't glazed it. I've put the golden, what's it called? The gold on it, the golden filigree on it. Not filigree. What is it called? The golden. Do you know when you have a memory? Complete and utter gold leaf. The gold leaf on it there. I've also got the little doll's plate, which I've drilled. This was found in a river up in the north west of England, right up in the northwest, and it had a dink in the china there, so I've repaired that as well. That's a piece of spongeware. There is a piece of clay pipe, which could be anything up to 400 years old, and an oyster shell up to now. So let's put those back in there for when I need them. Here's some sari silk that I dyed myself. So I've got that lovely golden yellow. This is called sea blue. You can see the different shades of blue in there, and this lovely sort of watery green that I did as well. So I also thought to dangle off the ends there, off the spine, as part of my dangle, would be lovely to do a doll's head mould, a doll's head with epoxy resin. So this is the head I've chosen, and what you need to do is to make the silicone mould, that bit there, we're just going to fill in with a bit of plasticine like so. Flatten that down, and then we're going to stand that in a container. Now this is just a container from the lid of a spray bottle, probably some matte black or gold spray or something. Now the doll's head back, I'm going to line up with this arrow there, and you'll find out why I've needed to do that. when we come to take it apart. So just remember to put the line with the back of the doll's head. And then here is my resin, which I actually got off Amazon, and it is by a company called BBDino. I will put the link below. It's super elastic platinum silicone rubber, and you've got bottle A and bottle B, and together they will make the silicone mould. I've got a spatula. I have got gloves, but I'm not going to use those because I trust myself not to get any on my hands. My window is open and all is well in the world. So let's sit down. So a lot of this is going to be just looking down from the top, but this is the key thing, to have your doll in there and to your doll's head in there, and to have the back lined up with a line at the back so you know which is the back. Right, so 2 of these little pots I've already measured make 1 of the bigger pots. So I'm going to put in here some silicone mould A into there. And I'm just going to just keep jumping up and down. I'm going to pour that into my mixing pot. I'm going to put in silicone mould B. Now this just looks like fairy washing up liquid, or even my fairy that I put in my washing machine to wash my clothes with. So it's a lovely beautiful green colour. So let's just move those out of the way. I've just got a piece of parchment baking paper there, so I'm going to pour that into the pot as well. That's in there, and I'm very gently, because I actually don't want any air bubbles in, or as few as I can, very gently going to give this a stir. It's a lovely colour, isn't it? I've already done one of these moulds about 30 minutes ago, but I don't know what I did, but I didn't save it correctly on my phone and I just couldn't edit it. See, new technology, new phone, new editing equipment, all the YouTube explanations you can find on how to edit it, and apparently I hadn't saved it correctly on my phone, so I've had to do it again. So anyway, so when this goes onto the doll's head, it will be in there for overnight to set, because it is night time now, and I'll be back in the morning and we can continue the video. We'll take the head out of the, I'll show you how to take the head out of the mould, and then we can use resin, epoxy resin, to mould a dog's head. Now this can be used, let me just remind myself, this silicone, you can use it for anything except UV resin. So use it for epoxy resin, you can use it for soap, you can use it for candle making, all sorts of craft projects, but not UV resin. So I'm just making sure that this is really mixed in well. Doesn't tell you how long to stir it for, it just says until it's well mixed. Let's just put those away and out of the way. really excited to make these heads. When I've done them, I'll be able to show you how to make them look not as, what's the word, resiny, but how to make them look like vintage things, doll's heads that you might have just pulled out of a river, or that you might have it in your collection, should we say. It's amazing what you find on when you start beach combing and river walking and really looking at the things you can find. I've been absolutely stunned. Right, so I'm going to bring back my doll's head. There she is. And then I'm always frightened I've never stirred it enough, and because it doesn't tell you how long to stir it for, I don't want air bubbles, because I'd hate an air bubble on her nose. They actually seem to just be bursting themselves, those air bubbles. And I'm very gently going to pour that over my doll's head. Then I can bring you back tomorrow and we can have a look at how things have gone. Oh, that is supposed to come just over the top of the head and it's just not quite. So I will just mix a little tiny bit more. It's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. So I'm just going to pick a point on here. Pour in that. Pour that into my stirring dish. So I am measuring. I can see points on here myself where I'm measuring to on this little dish. And let's put some more on here. How have I ended up with 2 sticks? I do not know. Pour a little bit more. Am I washing up liquid in? It's not washing up liquid, is it? But it looks like it. And pour that in to there. So as long as those are equal quantities, doesn't matter whether it's 5 mils of each or 50 mils of each, as long as they are equal quantities. Let's give them a stir. I remember years ago when I was 18, before I was waiting to go into nursing, my dad had an electronics company and he used to make electronic safety switches, and he used to use a lot of resins and things like that, and we had to mix them all. That was always my job. But in those days, you know, considering he made safety switches, health and safety in other ways was a bit out of the window. So we never had gloves or anything to wear while we did it. And boy, oh boy, did I suffer from dermatitis. Right, have we got the doll's head there? Yes. So let's just pour that in and cover the doll's head. I should have sued my dad. Are you listening to me, Dad? Up there in heaven. There we go. There we are. Super duper. So as you can see, the doll's head is covered, and I will very gently just move this. See, there's the other one that I did earlier that didn't video. So I'll have 2 doll's heads tomorrow to show you. Move the doll's head over and I'll see you tomorrow. See you later. Bye. Hi. Here we are, ready to continue with the moulds that we made yesterday. I've already made one mould, so I could have a practice ready before I show you how to do this one. This is the doll's head that I used for this mould. This is the rosy cheek face girl. And I think these are, I believe they are Victorian, these heads. This is one, I want to show you what I did with it. This is one of the heads that didn't have any face on it. It had all been worn off. So my mum painted the face for me. So I don't know whether to gloss over that because these are glossy. So whether she lost a gloss and then a face, I don't know. So anyway, my mum painted the face. I've made the outfit. Do you like it? Little pocket there in the apron. A dress with a little mother of pearl button on there. She's got, the apron does come off. She's got a beautiful underskirt under there, which again fastens with the mother of pearl button. And then under there, she even has a bloomers are on underneath. So my next task after doing this video is to make her boots. Got some leather. I'm going to have a go at making little leather boots for her. So I'll let you know how that goes. So that's what I've done with one of these doll's heads. And then the arms and the legs are just parts that I've found. She has got a missing thumb and she has got a missing finger and a little chip there. So whether I rebuild them and make them gold to show that they have been repaired, I'm not sure yet. So they're actually mismatching arms. The legs are matching, the legs match, but I don't think you can really tell, can you, that they're mismatching? But I got this inspiration from Kit and Caboodlers, and I'm in the process of making a doll's house inspired by Kit and Caboodlers. So yeah, I really love her. She feels just all lovely. All lovely. Right, let's get on with the moulds. Here we go. We've got our epoxy resin and ready to cast the moulds of this head and the head in here. So if you remember, I asked you to draw a line there so you knew where the back is. And let me just put a line on there as well so I know where the back is. My Sharpie has disappeared. I thought I'd got everything. Well, I had got everything together. And then my Sharpie just disappears. Right, let's just put a little line. So where that line is, just mark there so you know where the back is. And that's only for when you use the knife to cut the mould. If you accidentally catch the back of the doll, it's not as drastic as cutting down the face. So if you remember, these were just the tops of aerosols. I'm starting to save all little plastic pots now. So literally I've got my knife and I'm just going to very carefully cut down this side of the plastic pot. So once you've used this plastic pot, you will not be able to use it again. So you cut straight down. And then I just sort of, it's a bit like getting a very firm jelly out of a mould. I love the colour still. It's still that beautiful green. I expected it to go more cloudy, but it hasn't. So we just need to break that out. So we'll get some air into it. It does make it easier to come out. Let's just do a little bit more cutting. You can sort of see the air coming down. You see the air bubble. I'll just do a little cut underneath there. Would help if I cut with the right part of the knife. Be really careful doing this. We don't want anybody losing their fingers. All right. There we go. And it's out. So, oh, it's just on there faintly where I drew my line for the back. So you literally cut down through your resin, not your resin, your silicone mould. And this needs to be done really carefully. Just keep looking for your doll's head in there. I can feel it with my knife. I'm just cutting the back there. There it is. And what you want to do then is take out your doll. Come on, Dolly. She's going to come out easily. Just need to cut into that a little bit more. And there she is. Can you see her? There she is. And I just want to take her out. There we go. She's out and she's unscathed. Take the plasticine out. There we go. So we've got the two size heads. One of each. Right. Whew. Sigh of relief now that that's done. So I'm just going to cut off that little piece of resin there that's like gone over the base. There we go. So then what you need to do is just to, I am going to show you how to do these in a box so you get a 2-part mould. But I just thought I'd show you this way first. So what we need to do is to tighten that seal back up. And as you can see here, I've done that by wrapping wire around. Don't ask me what gauge wire this is. I don't know. So I want, you can just wrap one around if you want to, but I wrapped 3 around. I did bottom, middle and top. You see, top, middle, bottom. So let's get 3 pieces. 1, just big enough to wrap around and to tighten up. 2 and 3. This wire I just got from Hobbycraft. I've had it for quite a while actually. I bought it ages ago when I was making, I got all different colours when I was making these dangles. I used it to wrap around the dangle. Right. I'm going to move my little heads out the way because I do not want the resin on the doll. So bring your mould together, wrap your wire around and just tighten it up just to seal down that where you've cut. Just tighten it up till you feel it's tight enough without distorting the shape. I've just been to Hobbycraft for some epoxy resin, white resin, because my white resin, I went to use it and it had gone off. So I went to Hobbycraft and I shot over to the resin. There was only about 3 different types of resin there. Just tightening that up a bit more. Probably better starting at the bottom actually, because as you go down and tighten up, it loosens the other parts. So yeah, I went to the resin, no white resin. They said we've never done white resin. So I said, well, you have, because I bought it here before. No, you must have got it somewhere else. No, I got it here. Anyway, it's not worth arguing, is it? It's holiday season. We're all happy. Christmas songs are playing. So I said, fine. So I bought the crystal clear, is it called Pebeo, crystal clear resin. And then in the car on the way home, I got the resin and the white pigment. So on the way home, I remembered I had some crystal clear resin at home. However, rather than take it back, next year my plan is try to not buy things. Ha ha ha, she says. I mean, she's off to Florida in January, so she's going to fill a suitcase full of crafting products. So I thought, well, we'll keep this resin because I'll not be buying it next year. I'm just not happy with that bit around there. Let's see if it'll come off with the scissors. You know, the little... We don't want it to drop in either because we don't want it all like the doll's face, do we? So I got the Pebeo pigment, which I've never used. So I've just been on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube, isn't it? How to use the Pebeo pigments. Because I thought, if you put it in, will it thin out your pigment, your epoxy resin? You know, is it still going to set the same? Do you have to change the ratios? However, no, doesn't seem so. Right, so there's my 2 moulds made. I'm quite excited to do this. Now I'll pour the resin, mix and pour the resin. I thought I'd put that in the bin. You always get a little bit that sticks to you, don't you? So tomorrow, let's put it there. I'll have to let them set overnight. Even though it's only 3 or 4 hours setting time, I'm just going to leave it overnight. So we'll come back tomorrow to take them out and have a go at painting. Yay. So, resins. So I've got my measure, got my mixing bowl, and I've got my gloves. I've got my window open, my gloves here, because no matter what, I cannot stand the feel of resin, that resin on my hands. I can't stand it. And I watched a video, and it was Robin Dudley-Howes, and she said she was using epoxy resin, and she said, make sure you wear your gloves. This was the first time, and I thought, no, I don't need gloves. I'm all right. Anyway, got the resin on my hands, and it was honestly the worst feeling of my life. They do supply those little plastic gloves in the packaging, but I prefer these sort of hospital grade gloves that fit tight to your fingers, because those plastic ones they supply don't really fit firmly to your fingers. So this is by Texpert or Teakspert epoxy resin. So we're going to put half of equal measures, so 50% that, 50% that, and that makes 100. So apparently we pour the hardener in first. So I'm just going to sit down. Let's have a look. So I've got my little measuring pot. So I'm going to do a pot of this and a pot of the other. Oh, sorry, not shaking. I'm going to do a pot of this. It says hardener first. There we go. So let's pour that into there. Putting the lid on because I'm a bit not good at not knocking things over. My husband said, you must be crazy going out to hobby craft on the Saturday of Christmas, just before Christmas, but actually it was really quiet. So the retail park it's on doesn't have any supermarkets, so it's really, really quiet, which was good. Right, this is the epoxy resin. So we do the same amount of this. Oh, yeah, let's take that little, that one's got a cap in it. So I've got it, my baking paper underneath on a tray I'm working. Let's pour that in here. So hobby, I keep calling it Hobby Lobby. It's Hobbycraft here. So Hobbycraft was really quiet. So I got like one of the experts. You know, I was asking him questions about using the pigments, because they had every pigment colour under the sun, but they didn't have white epoxy resin. Right, that goes in there. So I bet he wished they had been busy, and then he wasn't. He said, well, I mainly work with metal. So I said, well, you're an expert. You know, it doesn't say metal expert, just says Hobbycraft expert on your badge. So, you know, you need to learn a bit more about resin, because I bet there's not many metal workers coming into Hobbycraft. Right, now we need to start slowly mixing from the middle outwards. So we're very slow, because we do not want air bubbles in this. Now the pigment doesn't tell you how to use this on the packaging at all. In fact, if I can get the packaging here. So just says concentrated pigment for tinting resins and other techniques, with a little star. And then there's nothing inside. This writing is so small, but it just tells you liquid pigment can be easily mixed with resin solvent based products, bright pigment colours. Depending on the dosage, obtains opaque and or transparent colours. So that is it. Doesn't tell you quantities, nothing. I suppose you put it in yourself to get whatever colour you desire, or level of opaqueness. At this point, you could add other things. You know, you could put gilding flakes in, you could put glitter in, little shells, whatever you wanted to. Right, so here we go with this. Let's have a look. Is it opened here? No, so let's just pop that bit. Doesn't want to pop with its own top. There we go. Then we put that on. And we cut that nozzle bit off there. And then we start to pop it in. Oh, that comes out really, really fast. Just keep stirring. Ooh, that smells strong. Right, where is the white? There we go. Wow, that smells really, really strong. There comes the white now. Whew. I don't know what that smell is, but it's very, very strong. Whew. Oh, that looks nice and white, doesn't it? Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Wowie, wowie, wowie. Let's put the lid back. I'm going to squirt a little bit more in. Let's just wipe the top on there. Might have been better to squirt that oily stuff out that came out first onto a cloth or something, tissue. Look at that. So I've got my white epoxy resin now. I suppose then if they do all these pigments, there's no need to do a white epoxy resin, is there? Because they'll get you to buy the pigments. Look at that. So I'm just stirring this. Let's just stir. I think I have to stir for about 5 minutes or so. So Yes, I'm off to Orlando just after Christmas. So I want to go to Hobby Lobby. I want to go to Joann's. I want to go to Michael's. These are all the places I hear my American friends and crafters from across the seas talking about, across the sea, the pond, talking about. So anybody who lives in Orlando or thereabouts or knows Orlando really well, please, please, please comment below. Tell me which one to go to. I do want Tim Holtz because it's so difficult to get here. And the new products are always out of stock when you go online to order them. So do want some Tim Holtz. So please, please, is it Joann's? Is it Michael's? Is it Hobby Lobby? Our Hobbycraft does not stock Tim Holtz at all. So please, please, please tell me which is the best one. Comments below. So can you see I'm doing small circles in the middle? And I'm going to the outside, bigger circles. I'm just going to do this as well. I'm giving it a really, really, really good mix. Feels like a lightly whipped cream. Oh, that smell though, that pigment smell. Ooh, here comes. Right, so here goes nothing in a minute as we try our moulds. So I'm going to paint them tomorrow. I'm trying to make them a little look vintage as well, not just this shiny white colour of resin. Now I'm going to sit down because I'm going to pour. I'm always nervous on pouring. I always think, have I done enough? Now, some people wash these out afterwards or wipe them out with a cloth and wash. No way. Because, like I said, I can't stand the touch. So it'll be going in the bin. I bought myself some more of these little pots. They're called, when I worked in hospital, we called them galley pots. But they're called wax melting pots at Hobbycraft. And they're just like a little plastic pot. Could do with some paper cups because they're really good for mixing these in. But anything I get, so say this might have had some dipping or something, some food, you know, the food dips for dipping your tortilla chips in or carrot sticks, whatever. So I always save these because they just come in so handy, don't they? I actually really don't like plastic and I do my best never to buy anything in plastic, but you can't help it, can you? Right, shall we give this a go? I've got visions of it all flooding out. What I tried to do is not... There's a slight cut at the side where I've took the head out, but I've not cut through to the base of the mould. Of the mould. So, rightio, here goes. I'm going to pour into there. So just check you're happy with everything. Does anything need tightening up? I'm just going to tighten that up. There's no harm in just keep checking, double checking and triple checking because you don't want your head to be out of line. Right, that feels fine. I'm going to put that there and leave it alone. Double check here. That's a gilding flake. They get everywhere, don't they? Right, here goes then. I'm on screen. So I'm just going to get my epoxy resin and I'm just going to very, very gently pour it into my mould. See, that one's filled. I'm going to have loads of epoxy resin left. I've got some other moulds. I'm going to use it in some other moulds. Just going to give it a minute to, you know, settle into the crevices. got some spooky moulds. Halloween moulds. Ooh. If it's too much, we'll just take that off in a minute. Let's have a look at some of the moulds. Here we are. Because I don't want that. I'm going to take it across. There we go. And let's move this over here. Here we go. So it's a waste not, want not, isn't it? Because this resin is very, very expensive. Probably one, apart from your big pieces of equipment, it might be one of the more expensive items that you purchase. So let's have a look here. I've got this Finbar mould here. And it's a face. Let's just move that up a little bit. Swipe off around there. There's a face. Right, there's some faces. This is the Annabelle mould. Let's just, we might as well use it, haven't we? There's a bit of black in there. Make sure your moulds are clean. Let's pour that in there. Little face. Little love heart. Take some of that off. You can file these down. I'm just going to wipe that across there. Whoops. One foul sweep across. Oh, let's do the bigger heart. Oh, it just gets so messy, doesn't it? I think I hate this because it reminds me of those early days, you know, working with my dad. I used to have to make all these resin things. It's definitely too much in there. I'm going to just take that across. There, wipe it off. There we go. That's better. That is better. What a messy job. Right, let's have a look here. I have got, so I'm just having a look at what I've got here. Skeletons. Finials. Ooh, I do like these, like little ribs and things. Let's pour these into there. So that one's ribs. Whoop. This one is like a skeleton lady. That one, I'm not sure what it is. I have to remember not to mix quite as much resin next time. I'm going to go and get some lunch now and let these just prove a little bit, because I I don't want to disturb them. Ooh, skeleton's hand. It's quite a good one. I like this mould. Ooh, let's just get that down into the fingers. Come on. There it goes. These are great fun for Halloween, making Halloween ornaments and decorations. Let's just push this down into there. It's one of my favourites, this hand. Right, let's just swipe off the top. I just need to put a little bit more into that finger there. I didn't make these moulds, these are bought moulds. Swipe off the top. There we go. Oh, there we go. Fab. And then that mold's a bit too big to put out on the table. These are bat wings. These are quite good fun to work with as well. There's hair on that. Move the hair. So I would say yes, I've definitely made too much. Let's pour this into this one here now. This should be it actually now. Whoa. It's just so messy. Messy and messy. Thing is, I'll just file these down if I need to do. Yay, there we go. Used up. Used up. Let's go over that again. Just take that off. Quite like to use dry clay because you can just push it in, but sadly I can't, can I? Because I want to use this, and also the dry clay doesn't actually work as well. Let's just try my witch's head here. Witch's head, cauldron. I think we're at the end now. Witch's head, cauldron, pumpkin, and a witch's hat. I do like to have a box with all these bits and pieces in. Right, I'll just scrape off the excess again. Let's take it that way, and we'll take it this way. Of course, once it's dry, all these bits of resin, these excess bits, will just come off your mould easy. Easy peasy. Oops, just put that back on. There we go, done. Yay, I'm glad. Epoxy resin used. So thank you so much for watching. I don't know if I took my glove off because I need it to tidy up, because I'm not touching that. All right, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow, which will be attached to this video, when we can paint the heads. Okay then, see you later. Hi there, the moment of truth. It's the day after the resin is dry, so we can take out a couple of, well, I think we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 of these moulds. We'll do the two main ones, the ones that I made, and a couple of these I just poured in with my spare resin. Just to show you that I did make my boots yesterday, my little boots, tiny boots. They're tied in knots. I've not tied them in bows yet because with these nails it's very, very difficult, so I'm going to ask my hubby to tie the bows. But I'm quite pleased with them. I think they've turned out really, really nice. So there she is, my little Lancashire lass. I'll just pop her to one side. Right, moment of truth. Let's do the hand first. Remember the hand? Ooh, look at that. These little pieces will just come off, or you can cut them, or if you've got some sandpaper, they just file off. So there's a rather nice spooky hand for using with my Halloween things. Let's get Annabelle's head. Well, the resin that spills over does just peel off, so they're easy to clean. Easy to clean your moulds. See, just peels away. Right, Annabelle's head. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So we've got a lovely face as well. So that it does actually, when they're on these thin moulds, you can cut them quite easily as well. I'm stalling for time for the main moulds. I think I am, aren't I? There's Annabelle's face. And let's do the little witch's hat. There it is. What I'll do, I'll paint these black. They do paint quite easily with acrylic paints. If you use gesso on them as well, if you wanted to put a base coat on. There we go. Right. Enough of those. Let's get on to the main ones. So, let's loosen the ties. We could just cut the ties, but I should have loosened them first, shouldn't I, actually? Oh, that's just going to slide off that one. Ouch, that's easier. Not when it goes, oh, I just cut myself down my nail. Never mind, never mind. Let's just cut that one. Just make life easier. There we go. Right, so you find the bit that you cut open. Oh, there we go. She's loosening off nicely. There's, where did I cut it open? I can't even find the bit at the back. That's got to be it. There it is. And we just take out the doll's head. Oh, fabulous. So this one is this one. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? I'm really, really pleased with that. These little rough bits, I can just, like I said before, just sand down any rough bits. And then I'm going to paint that one. That's got a bit of, I think that's a bit of the plasticine actually. Remember I put the plasticine in at the bottom? Anyway, I can deal with that. So that's that one. So now I can make a dangle with this one and not have to use my original. Right, the next one. Let's cut them. Because I put them on that tight. It's easier to cut them off. Right, let's move those. Right, here we go. There we go. This one is this one. Now is this one. There's that gap. And see how it didn't, oh, it's leaked a tiny bit down the joint, but you just take that off very easily. And there she is. Notice they are just a tiny bit small, and that's because they do shrink a little bit in the mould. But there she is. How fantastic. So that gives me two antique style heads made of resin. So what I'm going to do in the next video, what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to paint them. I'm going to try and make them less white and more of this antique style. I suppose I could have made them less white by putting a little bit of black resin in. Maybe next time. Oops. Or terracotta, little tiny bit of terracotta resin in to give me a pale skin colour. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you have a go at making these moulds yourself. Remember, don't throw that away now. You keep those, and then we can make more dolls' heads in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, and I always do. If you've enjoyed this video, please comment. If you really enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. That would be absolutely wonderful. And I'll put the links below as well for all these different things, for the silicone and for the resin that I've used as well. I'm well pleased with those. Well pleased. So come back and join me when I paint those faces. Bye bye.